Okay, so Michael Altula, a motivational speaker, once said that the bad news is time flies, but the good news is you are the pilot. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is the Complete Youth Podcast, and I'm your host, Temiloluwa.
With a burden to answer the question how, this is the podcast series of the Complete Youth.
Alright, so today I am not alone, and I'm really happy with who I am with, because today we're talking about how to ensure we have a balance between work, God, and academics. He is a graduate of the University of Lagos, a first-class graduate for that matter. He's also currently a staff at Guarantee Trust Bank and was the prayer coordinator for Serving Army Fellowship while he was serving on campus. So with Jesus' joy, we want to welcome the one and only amazing Temiloluwa Joshua. Woo!
Yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity.
You're welcome.
Very delighted to be here. Also very grateful for this opportunity. It's nice to be on this podcast. Thank you.
Yay, thank you so much. Alright, so I must say that we're very happy to have you, because I have spoken to a couple of people and I know that this particular topic is really sought after. You know, we have young people being pushed into doing a lot of things because we want to make money, at the same time we want to have good relationships, at the same time we want to make good grades in school, and all of this individually it's already a lot of work, not to talk about now combining it under the fact that you have just few years to your name, and a lot of people are expecting a lot of things from you, right? So in general, how do you feel about this topic? You personally, how do you just feel about the topic?
Okay, personally about this topic, I think it is very, very, very important for you to be able to strike a balance between your relationship with God, your relationship with your family, and then the expectations that are expected of you to deliver in your academics or at work. A deficiency in one of this would actually show and could actually affect your happiness as a person, could also affect the results that you actually command at the end of the day, and then you could also go through life and then it does makes you an incomplete, imperfect believer. The Bible says wisdom is important and would help to direct your path.
Yes,
that is just paraphrasing what is actually what it says in the book of Proverbs there. Right. So it's wisdom for you to be able to know how to prioritize first, putting God first, and then proceeding to take your family to be important. And when I mean family now, family might not just be blood relation. I always define that, and I always tell people, in this family of God, we define family according to love.
Yes.
That is, when Jesus was talking, and then they said, Jesus, your brothers and your mother are calling you. He told them, he said, who is my mother, who is my brother? He said, everyone who hears this commandment of mine and doeth them. He said, they are my brother, they are my mother. Now, that the people around there did not understand.
Yeah.
But see, everyone who is connected to you and then loves the assignment and the vision that God has given to you, and that works diligently to see you accomplish that vision and that will of God, is a brother to you.
Of course.
Is a sister to you. That is prioritizing and leaving time for family, and also your academics. We are called into excellence. We are made for excellence. We are made to shine as lights. That is the commandment. So you have to let people by your good works see that you actually follow God. That's why he said, and it happened in that day, 10 men will come and take hold of the skirt of he that is a Jew, and to say, see, we have to follow you because we know that God is you. How would they know? Well, it's by good works.
Yeah, so there has to be a proof of what you say you believe in.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Timmy. Okay, so let me ask you the first question. When it comes to life, what do you think is better? Do you think it's better to juggle everything and and say, okay, you're handling everything, something people like to call multitasking. Is it better to juggle things, or would you say it's always better to face one thing, finish it, then go to another thing? Or do you think it's a mix of both? And if it's a mix of both, where do you think it's applicable?
I like this question, and I like this question very much because a lot of people actually are very confused. You find them do things, some find some multitask, you find some finish one and then move to another, and then they believe. But then everybody does find everybody doing their own thing.
Right.
But to be very honest, I feel you should know yourself. So you can carry out an experiment. How efficient am I when I multitask? How efficient am I when I handle one project
At a time. Wow.
Now, in I think, is it in project management? Yeah, in project management, there is a particular term we call fast tracking.
Yes.
And then there's another one where you have to, like, is a dependency. The tasks are dependent on one another. So the completion of one task has to depend or would determine if the other next task is going to be dependent. But then there are always risks to it, and the risks is what is actually important that you need to take note of. Now, you might say you want to multitask and then you're not really giving 100%, and as a fan of quality you ought to deliver 100%.
Yes, I agree.
If you are able to deliver 100% over multiple tasks, and it will not weigh you down, and at the best, some people are gifted with that power, especially I think women are gifted in that.
I was going to the next question, or should I say the question directly on that list, or the baby of this question is, do you think it's gender specific? Because I think some scientists have actually said that a woman's brain is kind of like spaghetti, so everything is just twisted together. A man's brain is designed to focus on one thing at a time. So it's like when your guy is watching football, he's watching football. He's not doing any other activity with his mind. But a woman can be watching, doing cooking, taking care of the baby. Well, so you are agreeing that it's gender kind of.
It might not only does be gender kind of, but you're right that because there's this documentary that really goes to talk about the female brain and also specifying how the female brain is structured to allow for them to be able to multitask easily. But it does not still speak to every female or every lady out there. So you need to discover yourself. Someone like me now, I rarely multitask, but I can do two things at a time and I will do them well. But I really, because I know if I'm giving my attention to one thing, I will do it in faster time, and I will finish it, and then and by the time I'm done with everything, I'll be done faster than when I'm multitasking.
Exactly.
So you really need to just know yourself and then plan well.
So you guys, you've heard it. You need to know yourself, so you'll be able to apply the most effective method that works for you. Okay. So second question, Tammy. When you're building a life, you're trying to build a life, because it gets to a point in your life where you just know that I have to build a life. If I'm not going to, be like this person or be like this, if I'm going to look like what I dream about, I need to build a life. So what do you do when, as a young person, you are building a life and you are facing the choice of you have to be with your parents? So you can't just say, morning to night I want to fast, or I want to pray, or I want to just read, or I want to, because there's come and do this, come and do that. How do you help yourself in that kind of atmosphere? You're living with your parents, you don't have a choice, but you're trying to build a life and it's like they don't really get this thing you're doing. So how do you balance that? You don't want to disrespect them, but you also want to do what you're doing.
I love this question. You're asking very fantastic questions. Yes. Number one, I used to tell people, plan for distractions. Plan for distractions.
Right, plan for distractions.
Now, when some distractions could actually be good. I'm so sorry, but then to me, I see my parents as distractions most of the time. Yeah, so, and I plan for them.
Like it.
Now, how do I plan for them?
Right.
I go to meet them what are the things you expect of me to do today?
So I can't
list them. I don't know, but everybody knows in my house, so they know I'm a schedule. I actually plan my tasks even a day before, so everything is scheduled. So if you do not bring whatever you want to bring and fit it inside that particular plan that day, it moves to the next day. But you know, we are in an African setting, and then you'll be like, what do you mean? But once you actually speak to your parents in love, and you make them understand that, see, I have this time that I actually need to do some of all these things. So I need you to actually tell me, because we are young adults, we are not teenagers again, or some people might actually still be within the most probably late teenagers age towards the young 20s, adult age. Yeah. So you need to be very intentional about the future you're building. And that means you need to have the time to be able to build that future. Then plan for it. So if your parents are saying, oh, probably we need to do this and this and this tomorrow, you already know this and this and this. And then you also let them know that for tomorrow, I also have this and this and this and this and this to do. Exactly. So around this time, when I have this and this and this and this and this to do, I will not like distractions.
All right.
And I believe that if it's a family that is really in love, everybody will find a way to
work with what you exactly, because they believe in what you're doing. It would
be so beautiful, because not just only for, let's say, my family, I've also been opportune to move to see a lot of friends and go to their homes and then see the way the same thing operates. The parents actually tell them, okay, tomorrow we need you to do this. Having that respect, I believe that for when you're parenting young adults, the respect has to be mutual. As a young adult, you have to respect your parents and honor them, but also they have to also respect that you are building a future. But you also need to communicate. See, effective communication is what makes life sweet.
Of course.
Effective communication. Now, especially with most young adults, the issues we have is because we are arrogant and then we do not communicate effectively. So we don't do things because I'm not a child, and then at the end of the day, your parents will not take it well, and then you have issues. So I think that is how to plan for that.
Thank you. I really resonate with what you were talking about when you said time. The famous and very wise Dr. Miles Monroe was saying that wherever you are right now is a function of all you've been using your time to do. And I think another thing is, before you meet your parents or whoever it is you're staying with, you can just pray and say, God, please let this person understand before I go to them. All right, thank you very much, Timmy. Let's move quickly to the third question. Okay, so you are a young adult, and obviously you have friends that are going to start doing things. Some friends are going to get married, some friends are going to invite you for stuff and all of that. And all of that. So how, I've come to see that some people actually find a very fine balance where they're able to build their lives and still able to support friends and family by going for all these events and things. And some people are just like, I'm not going to anybody's event. I don't care what anybody's saying. I'm building a life and all of that. So what do you think is best to do here? Because I feel like there are sometimes you say yes, sometimes you say no, sometimes you just have something to do. So how do you do this? Are you going to weigh it and say, based on scale of preference, what should I do? So what do? We want to support people but want to build a life.
I believe in balance. See, I believe in balance because life is very short. As a young adult, you might not be able to recognize that fact, but life is very short. And then one of the best way to actually spend your time is to invest it in people. Because
I was not expecting you to say that.
when you get old, when you're about to live this life, you will not remember the money you made. You will not remember the houses you built.
That is it.
You will not remember all the achievements you had, but you will remember all the people that made you smile, the ones you will miss, the ones that made you cry. The ones that will probably cry
when you go.
It's just, for me, I did not understand this until I think I had a very, very close near-death situation, and then I had my life really flash and
Before your
all
eyes.
those things,
Oh my
those were the things that those occupied my thought. And I think that was the transforming and that was the changing period for me. Because I really, my life does change. My life changed. I started having time for people. You could be chasing everything you're chasing, but see, if you don't have time for quality friends, and that's why I say there has to be a balance. So this year alone now, I've had like 3 very, very close family members and friends get married. And to be very honest, one of them, my brother, was getting married, and I had to leave like Victoria Island around like 6, be going to Songwater. I got to Songwater around 11 p.m. and then still in charge of drinks and food.
Oh shit!
On the day,
I can
and
imagine.
everybody were just looking at him, and then they saw me running around, and I barely slept probably 5-6 hours throughout the whole week, and I was still doing that. But he would not remember that probably I graduated in first class. He won't remember all of that. But he remember that on my wedding day.
He was there. He showed up for me.
I mean, see, this thing you're saying, one of my friends that is, he has his business, he runs multiple businesses, very good, doing well. And then he said, so one of my family members is getting married today, and said, I think I'm running late, so I think I might not understand. I had to tell them that family member is getting married. You say you're not going, you're not okay, you're not alright. But it doesn't mean you should now go for everything. As I said, there has to be a balance. So you need to know those people that are in your inner circle that are really family.
Okay, so I am very sorry that I had to cut that short. It was a pretty long session, and I understand the attention span of my generation. Right, so there is going to be a part 2, which is the continuation of this particular episode. And if you're receiving this right now, it means that in maximum of 2 days' time, the part 2 will also be edited and be uploaded by the grace of God. God give us strength. Alright, so yeah, thank you so much.